everybody in the Lord's Prayer. Yeah, well, excuse me. It is Monday, July 6, 2020, 9 a.m. Wilson County Commissioners Court is now in session. Now would you join me in reciting the Lord's Prayer?
Lord of heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
The power, and glory, forever.
Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liberty and justice for all.
I
Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
One.
Thank you. Lauren. Okay, before we get started, Commissioner Precinct 3, Skip Pike, Commissioner Precinct 4, Commissioner Wiley, Larry Wiley, are teleconferencing in. Okay, going to agenda item number 2, public comments.
I don't have any. John, do you have any?
No.
Okay, going to agenda item number 3, Richard L. Jackson County Judge. Extend declaration of public health emergency COVID-19. All right. Since the governor has taken his action and required everybody to have masks across the state, and his order superseded anything we have, then I see no reason to extend our public health declaration. Anybody got any comments or think that we might? Because everything that the governor does, we have to abide by.
You might just explain to the public, Judge, what does this order really pertain to? Because I've heard the public people having mixed thoughts about masks, not wearing masks. It's left up to the local government. Who enforces it?
And that's a deal, but the extension, the order comes from the governor. Enforcement is another issue, I guess you could say. And it's gonna, if we do enforce it locally, it's gonna be a burden on our law enforcement. Let's just hope that everybody abides by what the order that the governor issued, the executive order, and we don't have to take any drastic measures. If there's something blatant and somebody is that, yes, we'll have to take, and it will be law enforcement's job to do that.
So with this declaration, if we declare not to extend it, do we still get funded on a disaster?
No, anything, and this was happened, or was said before we let it expire the first time, that we do not have to have our disaster declaration in place to be eligible for funding and different things from the state and the federal government.
As long as the governor's declaration.
As long as the governor's
is in effect,
declaration
then we're
is
good.
still in effect.
Well, I thought that the county has to declare it too. If we don't declare it, we don't get funded?
No, as long as I just checked with Michelle, as long as the president and the governor's declarations are active, then our funding remains. We don't have to have an individual one because they're superseded.
His covers ours. Any other comments or questions on that? Okay, agenda item number 4, Richard L. Jackson County Judge discussing possible action related to how the Wilson County Executive Order affects county businesses to include possible rescheduling, closure, or adjusted public hours of certain county facilities or services. Okay, what deal? I was gonna suggest, okay, the Expo Center, it's what we have it for is for rentals, for public. I would, right now, we're still, let's see, I think it expired. But I'd like to extend it to at least August 31st. If we do not do any rentals, we can still keep it open for things like we're having the walk-up testing Thursday, Meals on Wheels, and the back barns can still be used. But as far as rentals for the banquet hall, I would like to do away with that until this has all been resolved.
I think that's the prudent thing to do.
What's that?
I said, I think that's the prudent thing to do.
Oh, yes,
We do.
thank you. So that we can do through Commissioner's Court, and it's on the agenda, so we can,
What about other facilities that are in the county?
if anybody's got any, this covers, if anybody wants to do anything else, but
I would say all facilities.
what's that?
I would say any facility that's in the county.
Like, what's any facility?
Any, I don't know, the cities, have y'all shut down y'all's,
I think you're a little too broad with that, because that can count the courthouse,
no,
No, I was talking about the banquet
I'm
facilities.
talking about banquet facility, any kind of hall or.
now that doesn't come under Commissioner's Court, that comes under the executive order, and,
So what does that
it's gonna
cover?
expire.
What does that cover, or the executive order for the governor? Can they have,
The governor has to do that. If we let this executive order expire like we're going to, then the county judge is the one that has to say, so, okay, you're closed down, you know, you can do that. And it lasts for 7 days, unless it's extended. Yes, ma'am.
When you asked about the city offices, we're following the executive order, which is 25% of what your allowed occupancy is. It's 50% for restaurants, but your general gatherings, they've got it down to 50%. So the city right now is not operating or taking anything in reference to that. We are having weddings, but most of our weddings have been canceled through December. The general order talks about outside gatherings of no more than 100 in his latest one. Before it was 500 for outside, now it's 100 for outside. And because our county has more than 10 active cases, we are keeping to 50% for restaurants instead of the 75%.
Okay, I believe the governor set everybody down to the 50%.
If you read further in the order, it says if you have 10 or more. There's some
And that's-
counties in
that's-
Texas that
That's
have
for a mass gathering or an outside gathering, the 10 or more.
the 10 or more, and also for, because at one point in time you could go to 75%, but he reduced it. But there are some exceptions, and the exceptions would be if you have less than 10 active cases, and of course, county does not.
But back to what you were going, if we let our disaster declaration expire, I don't have the power to shut anything down. As a commissioner's court, we have the power to shut the expo center down.
How about courts?
What?
How about the courts? Are they still having courts or not?
Yes, there's a plan that we have to enact, and we have court. We had court 2 days last week. We've got court this Thursday. As far as county court, district court is still going.
it's all video?
It's on
And
video.
they're doing Zoom.
Because the other day I came and there were a lot of people downstairs.
Yes.
That kind of worried me.
What's that?
That kind of worries me a little bit about all those people just lining up in the bottom.
And I don't know what they were doing sitting downstairs. That wasn't court. They were sitting
But
in
it's
the hall
still, I
down
don't
there.
know what it was, offense was.
In court, the other day, it was lined up like this. Everybody was 6 foot apart.
But you never know who's gonna come in and expect somebody to, they can just spread out to,
Don't know that any time, but,
just a precaution, I mean, I don't know what the procedure is when somebody walks in or not.
the bailiffs are taking care of that. We've got people screening them. They go through then when they go through, they get their temperature taken, they got a mask on. If they have a higher than 100 temperature, they're asked to, not to come in. They'll be reset. We've got a plan, we had to submit a plan to the regional judge before we could start court back.
I guess what I have concern is that they've been having certain weddings or certain gatherings.
We can control one facility when it comes to that.
So if they wanna have it in a certain city, then they can do it?
Unless you're executive, unless you
Unless I have the
extend this
executive order and I
Yeah,
do that.
That's
The
what I.
governor's already cut it down and put it back to, in a way, the local officials, but he's got it cut all the way back to 10.
So if somebody has a wedding somewhere, they can only have 10 people, correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
Unless it's, I gotta kind of to go back and read it, I didn't bring anything with me. I
That's
don't think
my
we're gonna
big
get police
concern,
involved.
a big question.
But that's the deal, that's not commissioner's court, that goes back to either the county judge or the mayor.
So they can still have it, is what you're saying?
They can have them if they okay it, get it okayed or approved.
Because I know there's a wedding coming up with 300 people. And they're still supposedly gonna have it somewhere in Floresville, I don't know where.
But we can't, if it's in Forestville,
You don't have it.
that's just the mayor. It's this, inside the incorporated city limits, it's the mayor, outside of that, it's the county judge.
We had a wedding scheduled for July 17th, but they canceled.
So it's like the Studio C's all shut down, I mean, basically, the Studio C,
Studio C Hall. It's the occupancy level, they have to.
so they can only be 10 people.
It's 25% of the occupancy, it's not 10.
so where does the 10 people come in?
Yeah, that's why I'm
This
kind
is
of
like-
You
confused.
can't have 10 people in a group, more than 10 people in a group, like restaurant settings, you can only have 10. But total occupancy is 25%.
And who sets that up?
The governor did.
Well, no, Edwin, he's been
Edwin
going
Baker-
around
Edwin-
telling,
Edward Baker has been setting all of the occupancies. We posted notices for the city of Floresville, and the last we heard by the governor's order for general gatherings is the 25%, and they have to do the 6 feet distancing. You can only have 6 people at the table allowed, which really limits how many people can have. And we've notified Studio C, we posted it, it's there posted.
really, all this number 4 does, is it doesn't give us control over
Over the county.
the county, it just gives us over our facilities. And that's what I was recommending, is at least until August the 31st, no rentals at the Expo Center. It doesn't keep it from operating like it is without, things that aren't rented out, that do the validations through the back barn, things like that. All this would be was from renting the banquet hall out for a wedding reception or a dance or whatever.
I know that on county business I know that we have an elections right now
Yes,
at the county facilities over here.
you can't, there's a whole nother ballgame there.
That's what I don't understand, is things that, like we're ordering everybody to wear a face mask, and people that are not wearing face masks, they're not required to use a face mask during elections. How do you protect the people?
Here's the deal, you cannot not allow them to vote. If they come in to vote, whether they have a face mask on
I don't.
or nothing, and they wanna vote, and they have all of their, credentials, they have their ID, they have their voter registration card, we cannot deny them the right to vote. That's how that goes. they're supposed to be wearing a mask out according to, Governor Abbott. If they're within 6 foot of anybody out in the public, they're supposed to be wearing a mask. Now, that would come under law enforcement. But if they come in without a mask and want to vote, we cannot deny them their privilege to vote. That's how
We
the
cannot
voters.
make them wear a face mask going into the building?
You'd have to have somebody say that, yes, no, you cannot. If they're going in to vote,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
you can't tell them what they can do. They go in and vote. And once they get voted and get back outside, if you want to stand there, but you're gonna have to have a whole bunch of officers if nobody's wearing masks. It's gonna be, they kind of threw it on the local level to enforce this. You know, it's gonna be very difficult. It's just people are gonna have to step up and show a little compassion and, caring for their neighbors and wear masks.
Most people will, but not all.
That's
That's
right.
that's a
That's
problem
right.
with the all, you know, that I see. That won't affect the runoff election by shutting that down?
What's that?
The runoff election will still be held in
Ah.
the,
Well, I don't think you can shut down the
You
election.
cannot, no.
You can't shut it
We-
down, I can tell you that.
We
no,
have,
that's what I'm asking, that.
No.
Yeah, I know,
we
we have
cannot
to do
do
it during
that.
the tornado.
Like I said, we've got control over really one thing as far as the public's use of, and that's the expo center.
No, but that, we're having a runoff election, right?
Yes.
So this will not affect that.
No. No, it's like I said, it's like we did before, is for rentals. For rentals for dances, wedding receptions, banquets, other things like that. And at least until August the 31st.
I make a motion that we do not allow any kind of rental of the expo.
Until August the 31st. Motion by
I'll
Commissioner.
second that. I'll
Motion, okay, motion by Commissioner Fowle, second by Commissioner Wiley. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None? So that motion carried. So that is all of the agenda items we have. So we're going to agenda item number 5, adjournment at 9:23. Thank y'all for calling in.